Hey, welcome to Amsterdam, everybody, and I see some familiar names, and I see that Antje is with us this evening. Hello, Antje, and Lynn, and Catherine, and Susan, and Aaliyah. Hi, welcome, Jackie. And I'm gonna just briefly. So, hello. Hello, Trisha. Pink hand waving. Hi. So, welcome to Amsterdam. It's a beautiful evening. That's enough of me. And we are still on Singel. Okay. So, let me just see if I got... Okay, that's all up to date. So, I'm going to carry on along the Singel. And the first building I'm going to be talking about is this huge, great, big, monumental one here. And I realize that I'm too close to it to give you a really good idea of what it looks like. So I have a picture. Let me just remember, how do I do the pictures again? Here we go. And here's a picture of it that I took during the week. And I was kind of chuffed to take this picture during the week because the boat in front of it is called Hope op Behoud. And that is one of the boats that I used to work on and do the maintenance on. And way back in 2009 when I came to Amsterdam. So it was kind of cool to see it here. I was the one of what was called the barmatroos, which means the barman and sailor. And yeah, it was just nice to see it in front of this building. So anyway, let's talk about this building. It was actually made as a bank that gave loans to companies from the Dutch East India, who were based in the Dutch East Indies. And when Indonesia got independence, the bank ceased to exist, but of course the building was still here, and it was taken over by the Rotterdam Bank. And after that, it became the Municipal Gyro Service. Now, I never really knew what a gyro was, and I had to look it up. You know, I've heard the word gyro a lot, and gyro payments and all that, but I didn't really know what it was. Anyway, here is one of the boxes where people would put their gyro forms in. And this was a really groundbreaking thing at the time, where it enabled cashless payments between the municipality of the city and companies and private people. So it was a huge thing. Anyway, so that was what this building was used for then. And in 1976, there was a robbery. And what happened is that it was all very dramatic. And the people who robbed the gyro place rushed out here, leapt into speedboats, and went speeding off down the canals. And they actually got away, and never to be caught. How's that for a dramatic heist in Amsterdam? I think it's brilliant. Anyway, from 1988, to 2011, it was the main post office in Amsterdam. I remember coming here to post parcels, and it was actually built, though, in 1912. And let me just show you the picture of it again. Initially, the right-hand side was built, and then it was extended along the Singel, leftwards, and extended that way. The style is neoclassical, and very subdued windows, as you see here. This is the thing about Dutch classicism. It's always got really, really simple windows, pimped up a little bit with the festoons. Oh, Susan, so like a film. So the festoons here, very reminiscent of the decoration on the Royal Palace as well, to get festoons like this on the building. And the capitals of the columns, the composite capitals up there. There we go. Oh, I love this zoom. Isn't it great? And It's made out of bluestone and Oberkirchner sandstone. How's that for a difficult word to say? Hello, Bunny. So that's the Oberkirchner sandstone and the bluestone. Let's have a look at a bit of the detail of it. Because indeed this is what this tour is all about. Detailed Amsterdam, and you can just see all the lovely, lovely details in the city. Beautiful stuff. I just love this. Love it, love it, love it. Nowadays it's offices and a gym. So I went in and I took a little video of where that person's walking, because I didn't think they'd really want me to be filming them as they're coming out of gym all sweaty. So let me just find it here. Oh, here we go. I'll put it where the door is. How's about that? Okay, so here's a video of going into the building. Sorry. Oh, no, I'm So being the main post office, it was kind of grand. And up the marble stairs, into the marble foyer. And then it all looked so promising. And then this is all glassed in here. But nice that it's glassed in, so that we can actually have an idea of what it looks like inside. So super, super grand. Hello, Antje. Yeah, it's a lovely door. Anyway. How are you did again? That's how we get rid of it. Okay, so that's that building. And the next door, I wasn't sure that this part of Amsterdam was going to give me so much to talk about it. I couldn't have been more wrong. Okay, check out this building. Okay, right, hang on a sec. There's a big garbage truck coming. Let me just run in front of it. Okay. So, right next door, there's a garbage truck. It's Singel 258. And this is very much from the Dutch Classicism period, and it's in the style of this architect. His name was Philips Vingbooms, and he was considered the inventor of the neck gable. And that's a neck gable, that's also a neck gable, that's also a neck gable, short neck gable. So you can see it looks very much like a neck. And what I did is that I actually came with my camera and I took a more detailed photo. So let me just share the photo with you, and I zoomed in, and I think that'll be better quality than the zoom that I'm using. What's his name? Vingbooms. He was actually Catholic. Oh, actually, let me get the gable on both sides. Let me look at that, get it on there where you can still see it also. We're coming to... Okay, there we got it, all over the place. Vingbooms was Catholic, so he didn't get a lot. Yeah. This person who hooted really loudly next to me. Just might make me jump in front of him. I've got such a fright. Okay, so here's this building here. And you can see, okay, it's Dutch Classicism with the decoration that you would often expect with Louis XIV. And look at those there's a shell or something, and it's just gorging a whole lot of fruit and all these festoons. And there's a falcon on the top. It took ages of coming back and getting the right weather to actually be able to see the falcon properly. And the reason the falcon's there is that this house was built for a Mr. Falconeer. That actually means falcon. So, years and years and years and years ago. Okay, what do we have next? There's a gable stone. Not only a gable stone, but it's a gable stone of a tomcat. Okay. Who doesn't love gable stones of tomcats? Okay, here we go. Now, this gable stone was actually quite... A kater in Dutch, by the way, means a tomcat. It also means a hangover. Okay, so it has two meanings. So the gable stone of the tomcat was only from the 1930s, 1937. Oopsie, sorry about that. And you can't really see the gable so much, it doesn't matter. Gosh, it's busy here on this road. Okay, now let's have a look at these three. These three buildings here have very similar cornice gables, so that's the flat gable, and actually these funny black splodges are pine trees. Let me try and see how well the zoom handles this. Palm trees. Did I say pine? I meant palm. Yeah, it doesn't work so well. But they're very classical in their look, and then you get this really remarkable lower facade here. Very, very elegant and very different from Amsterdam. Okay, it's a mixture of French and German Renaissance. Beautiful details, and then there's on that side it says Gebroeders Zaan on here, and I can't find out anything about the Gebroeders, the brothers Zaan. I have looked, I have searched, I have scoured the internet, I have looked at in my numerous books. But anyway, let's just have a look at the detail of the shop front, which is really beautiful. I just wish I could tell you more about it. So this is just so un-Dutch. I just read that, Susan. And then look at the beautiful capital of this pilaster on the side of the doorway. Check out these wonderful figures here. And it says 1816 in the decorative work here, but this building is later than that. So I'm assuming that maybe 1816 might have been when the company that was here was formed. And then across here you have 1890 or something like that. I think it was 1890. But yeah, remarkable. There's only one other building like this in Amsterdam that I'm aware of. And we'll see that in our travels. And that's got a whole lot more information available about it. Oh look, people always ask what are the hooks for? And here you can see a hook that's actually got its pulley hanging from it. So these hoisting beams and hooks would have a pulley like that, and then they'd be able to hoist goods up the outside of the building. For those of you who remember Ton van Garderen, who's the tour guide that Lee and I did tours in the Rijksmuseum with, I just actually met Ton here before the tour, and we had a pre-Christmas drink. Had a very, very, very nice little cafe. It's very super. I didn't know about this cafe, the windmill it's called, it's Molentje, the little windmill. But this is what I keep learning new things every week. Oh wow, this is a really cool view. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful view down Singel. And that's the Kreethornkerk down at the end. Really lovely church. And you'll notice there are no trees on the right. There are trees on the left. And the reason for that is that this whole wall on the right here was rebuilt. And they haven't got around to putting trees in. They will. There's a tree, it'll go there and there. But I really, really love to, it's great to have the opportunity to see the quayside without trees. It really does work. Now, this building here, okay, check this one out. This all here looks like, to me, it looks like a little bit of a mess. Sorry to say. And actually, this building was not part of the rest. That over there was one building. Okay, so there's a building with 2 windows, and then 3, and then 2 again there. Okay, so that's how it was built, and this one on the side wasn't part of it, although it looks like it vaguely belongs now. So let me show you what the original architect's plans looked like. Oh gosh, oh, there we go. Okay. So, on the left is the original architect's plans. This actually was designed by Wingboms. He designed it, and it's much changed, as you can see. Now, what's interesting is that there are pediments along the top windows. That's not often seen in Amsterdam. And it was built for Anthony Oetkens, and his dad was famously the person, Oetkens, who profited so much from insider trading when the canal belt was being planned, because before anybody knew about the canal belt, he bought up loads of land very cheaply and then sold it off at great profit. Okay, now his son Anthony also became mayor, and Anthony lived in the middle house. So in the diagram on the left, and looking with a screen that's moving on the right, sort of these three here. He lived in there as his house, and he let out the side houses, and he had the whole width of the garden behind though, and the annexes as well. And he tried the same type of speculation trick as his dad. He had some land in another part of the city, and he tried to hold out for more and more money. And then the city council got annoyed with him and appropriated his land, like compulsory purchase. And whilst he had actually been mayor, which is not a huge deal here, you know, there were 4 mayors at a time. The fancy families of the time made sure he was never mayor again. He made some very powerful enemies. The Bickers, who owned Bicker Island, we've been already, and the De Graafs. You don't want to get on the wrong side of them. But just look at the 2 pictures here. You see how the diagram on the left, that had a pediment. So a triangular bit right at the top. And the reason for that was to hide the bit of roof sticking out on the photograph on the right-hand side. So the pediment was there, and it was taken away later, but its function, besides making it look a bit grand, was to hide that little pointy bit of roof that you can see there, and you can see there. So these things. Won't the leaves clog up the canals? The trees that they have on the canals are elm trees, and they actually shed seeds in the spring at a certain time, and the canals become a bed of elm seeds, and that does actually clog up motors on boats. The leaves aren't too bad, actually. The reason they have elm trees, initially they started with lime trees, and originally when the canals were built, and they switched to elm. Elm trees don't have a big root system, so they didn't clog up. They didn't break the canal walls, which is why they switched to those. Okay. Oh, now let's see what's all of these buildings coming up. Love these ones. Now, check out this baby here. Get right in front of it. Oh, I didn't know Kater was almost also hangover in German. How interesting. So, check out this gable top here. The lighting's not great. Maybe it's a bit dark. So this is pure Louis XIV. No, 14th, 15th. Listen to me. Now this, you know, we've seen a lot of gables like this, a cornice gable like that. Well, this is a raised cornice gable, because it's kind of started out as a cornice gable, but it's been pushed up in the middle. It's not as elevated to be a bell gable. So it's a raised cornice gable, and there's the window there, which is in a cloverleaf shape, and that's the window you would open to be able to put the pulley on the hook that is in the mouth of this dolphin thingy. Thingy's not a very technical term, I know. Now, I wanted to actually have a close-up, zoomed-in photo of the dolphin, but I forgot to load it. unfortunately. But look at this interesting dolphin shape up there. Oh, that's a shame. It's already not working with the light. Anyway, very, very, very lovely. And then we get to a little line of houses.
Hey, can I get on the vlog, mister?
Okay. Now it doesn't look like so much really. I really love these tours. I love researching these tours because I learn so much. But if you look at this house here, I mean, okay, it's kind of grand. But, you know, it's just a house. It's 3 windows wide. Most of these are 3 windows wide. But this was like really something, really the bee's knees of houses, if you will. And it's originally from the 1600s. But it was renovated into this form in 1740. And it was actually really large because it extended behind the other one. So what I did is I went to Google Maps, and we're standing on Singel, you see there, and then I traced where this house used to be. So it used to go from here quite far back, and then to the right and the left on each side. And then at the back, it had the coach house and the stables and a gate. And the gap, you know, the gate was a see-through gate, like wrought iron gate. So the person who lived there would have had a library looking over the little courtyard at the back and out with views over the Herengracht. So it really was quite something. It actually sold in the 1600s for 51,000 guilders, which was a phenomenal sum of money then. Absolutely phenomenal. So it has this Louis XIV. It's looking very scrappy here, unfortunately. But let's go in for a bit of the grandeur. So a lot of nice detail here. And then this is the original Louis XIV surround of the door. And indeed the gable is original also. Just need to get across the road again. There's a bunch of traffic coming by. Okay, let's do this thing. Okay. Right. And let's just have a quick zoom up there. And I know you can't see it so well, so what I did is I do have a photo of this one somewhere. Oh, where is it? Oh, I didn't load that one either. Sorry. Okay, then I'm going to have to zoom you in. I can't tell you how many days I have spent on this particular tour, and I've been dealing with all the info, and then I had to do the photos today, and I clearly got a few of them. Okay, so this is late Louis XIV cornice gable. It's got the 4 consoles underneath. It's got a little crest in the middle, an attic crest, and then vases on the side. And actually there are chimneys behind those vases. There are actually 2 hoisting beams. Can you see? There's one, and there's one. And the reason for 2 is because of symmetry. Everything had to be symmetrical. Now there's some fancy people that lived here. The first fancy person who lived here, for a while anyway, was the Countess of Arundel. Okay, so she graced it with her presence. She had a phenomenal art collection, and here she is with her dwarf, jester and dog. So apparently that's what grand ladies of the time collected to keep themselves amused. And there were various mayors of Amsterdam that lived here. Jan Tripp lived here. And there was a mayor, Rendorp was his name. And when he lived here, he was he kind of represented the aristocratic excesses of the time, and his home was targeted, this place here was targeted by looters. And this is this poor house being looted. Let me just try and get to a similar angle for you and try and get the two photos lined up. Can't really go much further than this because there's a blockage in the street. So that was 1787. Yes, Susan, that was the Countess of Arundel from England, yup. Let's do a slow pan around and show you the beautiful evening. I'm so glad it's not raining. We've had a bit of that recently. Oh, I'm glad I've panned around, because I actually do want to talk about a house on the other side, which is what we have over here. It's a house that I can't find much information about, but it's really pretty and so small. Let me see if I got a picture of it. Okay, I've got to reconstruct. So, get around these cars parked here without falling in the canal. Hello. So, look at this house here. This is from the early 1600s, and it's in Dutch Renaissance style. So that's with the orangey bricks and the horizontal stone courses and those arches above the windows. And actually in the arches, I'm way too far away to show you, but these faces as the keystones. And then what happened is that this was kind of added to and altered. When it started, it had a step gable. And you can see the gable is a cornice gable there with triglyphs and in the frieze. And that's Louis XVI style. So they're mixing Dutch Renaissance with Louis XVI, which doesn't make, actually it makes a certain amount of sense because they're both very classical. And then around the front door, there's a lot of Louis XVI's decoration as well. It's a really, really beautiful little house. I can't find out very much about it, but I did find a picture of it before it was renovated, which is here. So this is a picture from 1955, and you can see how it's actually been plastered. And they're the two together. It was plastered and painted white. So thank goodness, you know, for restoration, because it looks so nice now. It just probably is one of my all-time desirable Amsterdam properties, really. If you could say I could have somewhere and I could just wave a magic wand and I could live there. Beautiful little place. A nice detail here. This was an old warehouse, and it says Silesian, probably about Silesia, and probably goods from Silesia in the wrought iron work above. Okie dokie. Oh, I should probably look where I'm going. I'm kind of looking up, and maybe I'll just concentrate on getting to the next location without any lasting damage. Arundel Castle is lovely. I used to live in West Sussex, so I'm going to Arundel Castle. It's very impressive. Where are we? Oh, a little bit further. Yeah, that house wouldn't go cheap. You're sure right about that. Here we go. It's coming up on the right. So there's a house on the right that was home to the Pearson family. Now they were merchants and bankers and great philanthropists, very much part of the Amsterdam elite. One of them was a prime minister, professor of art history, and the Allard Pearson Museum in Amsterdam is actually named after him. And there was also a high-profile pastor. And this was their house here with that lady standing at the door. And they were very involved in the Reveil movement. Now, this was a Protestant movement within the Protestant church. It was global, or pan-European anyway. And it was a movement away from sort of Enlightenment principles and rationalism back to church dogma. And they got involved in all sorts of socially responsible stuff. Things like fighting against alcoholism, the abolition of slavery, thankfully, homes for children and unmarried mothers, homes for fallen women, neglected girls and juvenile delinquents. So all sorts of stuff. That is really, you know, very socially responsible to be involved in these things. You know, one thing I really love is I love the reflections of the buildings from the opposite side of the canal in the windows. I think it's so pretty. Anyway, let me show you the gable of this building, because it's very spectacular. Here it is. And so on the left we have Neptune. Let me just hang on a second. Get both on shot. And the right, Mercury. So these were the two gods of the city. Neptune being Lord of the Seas, God of the Seas, and then Mercury with his staff being the god of trade. Now, I'm not sure if that's underneath the chat for you, so let me just put it over that way. So, beautiful gable. How's about that, eh? Right, what's next? Next, and now for something completely different. This building here, oh gosh, I got it. Good. I can now zoom out of this. So this is completely different, and I can hear what you're saying, like, oh, that looks very much like Amsterdam school architecture. Okay. With very narrow red bricks and kind of like a hint of Art Deco to it. So that's the Amsterdam school period. Now, Amsterdam school was probably much more exuberant than this, and this is actually known as restrained Amsterdam school. So, and as in restrained, as in sort of, you know, just pulled back a little. Let me try and get over here. Okay. Zoom up and give you an overview of the whole thing. So Amsterdam school was it had a lot of, I mean, the pure Amsterdam school had lots of curves and flourishes and interesting little animals and everything, but this is the restrained version, and it's actually very classical in its own way. So let's just start at the bottom here, and you have this rustication. For those of you who've been with me on other tours, you know how much I hate rustication. But anyway, there it is. And then these brick columns, or pilasters, because they're not real columns, span 3 floors, and that's known as the Colossus columns. And also that's very, very, very classical. And at the top of a column, of course, you get a capital. But check out these capitals. They're very, very cool. Let's see if the zoom works sufficiently well. It does. Interesting shape up there. And the reason for the shape is that this was actually the municipal telephone service from 1919. And what that's meant to show is all the telephone wires attached to the tops of telephone poles. Let me just show you a photograph of it so I'm not jiggling the screen around too much as we're talking. Can work with me? There, that's a bit better. So you can actually see the telephone wires. And then I was trying to work out what the right word was. You know, the things on the pole, it looked like little mushrooms that keep them apart. So that's why those are there, a nice little decorative detail. And then there's lots of little crests you can see, little shields, and those are the crests of towns, various different towns. Okay. Oh wow, what beautiful lighting. Okay, the last thing I want to actually show you is right opposite me here. And I dared not hope for such beautiful lighting, but I've got it. Haha. Check this out. Okay, now. Good. Okay. Opposite is one of my favorite hotels in town. I've recommended people stay here for years now. And I've had friends staying there, so I've actually seen the rooms also. And it's called the Hotel Estheria. Estherea. You don't get nice cheap hotels in Amsterdam, but it's not eye-wateringly expensive. But what's interesting about this, okay, is it's from there to this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. But the buildings didn't always look like this, surprise, surprise. And let me show you how they looked originally. Here we go, somewhere here. Okay, now. From the left, the very one on the left and on the right are not part of the hotel. It's the middle ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see on the photograph I'm showing you, yeah? There's a flat cornice gable, and then there's a neck gable, which is a little bit below the cornice gable. And then there's another cornice gable, I'm going to the right, and then there's a darker black building with arches and keystones that looks a bit Renaissance, but it would have actually been neo-Renaissance, okay? So you see that? And let's take this out the way and look again. And here you have, there's the tree on the left, and then there's a cornice gable, and then there's the neck gable, but the neck gable's higher. Check it out here. Here the neck gable goes down half a floor, but here in reality, the neck gable is higher. And then there are 2 more cornice gables. And if you look at the picture, to the right of the neck gable, there's 1 more cornice gable, and then there's the neo-Renaissance building. So what on earth is going on? Well, what happened is that the hotel had these 4 buildings. They raised that one up, and they completely rebuilt that one. And they made the windows look like they all fitted together, even though they were from 4 different buildings. So they harmonized the windows like that to give it a bit of unity. And they made something that's actually quite pleasing to the eye. And I went, it's such a beautiful hotel. So let me show you inside. This was from this week. And walking through the public rooms. And I say it's just great. So coming in the front doors, very, very opulent in a very nice way. And they've got 2 lovely big shaggy cats. So you've got to kind of like cats, I suppose. Going through into a little bar area. Look at the ceiling. I mean, the roof of that ceiling is like stained glass on the ceiling into the breakfast room. Really beautiful place. And then I had to cut the video because they had some guests who were about to come into shots. So I wanted to show you this area, but there were some of the guests there. So this is going also on the ground floor. There's lots of rooms where you can just go and sit and read or meet people, just open to guests of the hotel. It's a really, really, really lovely spot. And the rooms are nice as well. And that does help. Protea over there, national flower of South Africa. And then, as you can see in the photo, there's the blue awnings. And then in the film, there's the blue awnings as well, looking out over the canal. So, the Hotel Estheria. Light just show you a view of this, the old telephone exchange, just from further away, so you can get it in all its mightiness. And then the quiz question. Okay. Last time what I did is I put the quiz question in the Facebook group, because I know some people have a lag. And this time I think I'll just go back to doing it. Oh, look, a flower bike. Ta-da! Okay. Oh, hello, Ruth. Nice to see you. Hope everything's okay. And now, the quiz. Okay, I hadn't really prepared a quiz question. And normally I make it kind of easy for you by saying, already emphasizing during my info what the answer is, but I didn't do that this time. But while I was talking and doing the tour, I did, oh, I need somewhere to put the slicey. I did have an idea of what the quiz question could be. Okay, so here goes. The trees along the side of the canals are elm trees. They're elm trees because they have a root system that doesn't damage the walls. But to win a slicey, and if you've already got one, maybe hold back a little bit, what were the original trees that they used? They weren't elm trees, they were another kind of tree. Does anybody know what kind of tree that was? And while you're thinking, I'm going to find somewhere to put the slicey. So, maybe somewhere by the hotel. Lime, indeed, Susan O. So, Susan, you're the proud winner of a slicey. And if you can just reach out to me on any kind of social media or in the description of the tour, you can see my email address, mark@thatdamnguide.com. I will post one to wherever you wish. And let's just give one a home here. Let us see, let us see, let us see. I think is that going to be a good one? Is that a good one? This is a good one here. Okay. There we go.
Nu ben ik leuk. Mag ik daar ook een foto van maken?
Jazeker. Het heet een slicey.
Een slicey?
Een slicey, ja. Een kaaskaaf met wiebeloogjes.
Oké,
En het is... Oké, geniet ervan.
oké.
Ja, doei. There's this lady, a Dutch lady, and she said, "Oh, that looks nice. Can I also take a photograph of it?" And she's now taking a photograph of the slicey. I love it. Okay, that's gonna look like a real smile. Oh, great. I should really set up a camera and watch people's reactions. But anyway, thank you for joining me so much. For joining me. I'll be back again next week. Now that my in-person tours are calming down a little bit, I have more time to do these, which is really great. And if you want to make a donation, more than welcome. Buy me a coffee or PayPal. You can find the stuff in the description. Let me just get these on side. Okay. Yeah, no, that was cool. That was very cool. Let me show you actually how the Ria Hotel is. From the outside as well. Very, very elegant. Oh, that's a pleasure, Ronnie. Thank you for joining. And it's a pleasure, Susan. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Jackie. So, from Amsterdam, that's me, over and out till next week. You take care, all of you, and happy travels. Bye bye.